Let me graciously welcome the Chairman, Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers, Dr. Nwachukwu, a renowned water engineer. Dr. Michael Nwachukwu, you are welcome to 60 Minutes Lifestyle.
Thank you, Tony.
Today is, have you gotten the new Naira notes?
I've seen it, but I've not gotten it.
Okay. What about PVC?
Yes, I have my PVC.
You have the PVC.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go. So, sir, let me start this way. The Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers. Somebody says they are not popular. We hear more about the mechanical engineers, the other engineers, these engineers, electronic engineers, and all other engineers. But you, the water engineers, are not popular. Is that true, and why?
Okay, thank you, Tony. The Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers generally, they are popular. Let me put it this way. It's an area of engineering that cuts across other engineering professionals. You know, to get water from any source to the end user, you utilize some electrical and mechanical components, and so you can see the electrical person is there already, the mechanical is there. It is the oldest and widely spread division of Nigerian Society of Engineers. They are popular, not as popular as the civil, the other aspects of engineering, because most of the infrastructure you have about water is underground. You don't see them, but you see the effects.
Okay, there are no collapsed buildings. There are no collapsed waters.
Yes. In water, you can talk about pipe bursts and thereabout, things like that.
And the flood.
Yeah, but for water engineers, they are popular, they are known, but you only know them when the effects of what they do come online.
And who becomes a water engineer, and what makes somebody a professional in that area?
Okay, a water engineer is basically an engineer. It could be a civil engineer. You specialize in water resources, and then you register with the Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, Nigerian Society of Engineers, and the Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, and then you get your current registration, and that is it. So you go through the university process. Basically, you are an engineer. You're a civil engineer or a water engineer, and then you now go and specialize in other water supply. You go to water resource erosion control. Depending on where you are working, you now have experience in other areas of water engineering, and so that is how you train. You go through the university. After that, you register professionally with Nigerian Society of Engineers, and then Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, which is a division of Nigerian Society of Engineers. And basically, you have to be current registered to be able to practice as a professional engineer in the country. So once you are current registered, you now choose which of divisions you want to specialize in and remain, depending on where you are working. And so that gives you the title of being a water engineer or an erosion control person. That's what it is.
Okay, sir. Let me ask this: the title of this, the topic is the role of water engineers in nation building.
Yeah.
How will you articulate that?
Okay, let me tell you this, Tony. Water is life, they say. Sanitation is dignity. If water is life, it's an essential aspect of nature, that everybody needs water to survive. Water is required for domestic, industrial, and agricultural purposes. Every nation wants to feed its populace, and so you must use water for irrigation to improve on agricultural production and feed your people. You also need water in the industries. You need water for human consumption, domestic. You treat, transport, and supply the people in right quantity and quality. And so you find out that in the nation, if you are developing your capital, your villages, is part of the program of nation building. And so if you don't have water in right quantity and quality, sorry, you'll not be able to develop as a nation, because you'll be lacking in feeding your food security, or feeding your populace, as well as the dangers in taking unwholesome water. When you don't have proper water, people are sick, and that is it. Okay, sir.
I will get to those areas. I have some questions lined up for those areas. So let me come up with this. You've talked about the role of water engineers in the society, in the nation building. And about 2 weeks ago, you were the investiture of the current chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers. The title came upon you.
Yes.
And what one wants to know here, before we get to the nitty-gritty, because I talked about professionalism, what will you do differently to ensure that the union grows beyond where it is today? Are you articulating possibly a bill or proposal to the State Assembly to make sure that those who are not trained, who are not members of the organization, does not meddle into water management and treatment?
Yeah, thank you, Tony. What we do in Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, is to bring together under this umbrella water engineers and allied professionals working in the water sector. You see, it's broader now. And each and every one of these people must be professionally trained, registered by Koren to have a certification to practice in the first place. And then under this umbrella, we think about improving on our professional competencies and practice by way of capacity building. We have enlightenment program lectures bringing to the fore issues of current discourse affecting our society, bordering on water resources and water supply, the impacts, whatever it is. It is the place to go to find solutions to challenges facing us in the water sector. And you have trained professionals in the institution who have over the years experiences and competencies in trying in the areas of water, and they have the solution. Actually, again, we partner with the 3 tiers of government and the development partners too in seeking solutions to our challenges in water. And we're not just stopping there, Tony. The important thing here is that we want to take the bull by the horn. It is not time. The time has gone when you come, you profile solutions to a problem, and you dump it at the doorstep of government and go away. It doesn't help anybody. We in the Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers will not only assess the situation, profile solutions, and take a step in the positive direction in implementing it, and call on government to partner with us. That is the best, that is the way to go. And we've seen it. We're trying a lot of models now, and government is our partner, as well as other private institutions, and we hope we would have prototypes and models of the different solutions to the challenges facing us in due course.
Okay, sir. At the investiture ceremony where you met the second chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers Imo State chapter.
Yes.
A lecture was there was a lecture there,
Yes.
which with the topic says flooding and threat to food security.
Yes.
Flood and the institution manages water, and flood is water. And people, when flood comes, people think it is, yes, it's a natural some phenomenon, but how can we manage it so that it doesn't become enemy? We don't have adverse effects that is like it's throwing up. What's the institution thinking about towards managing the flood waters?
Well, on the issue of flood, I think the federal government, through its agencies, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and MDAs under it, are working towards finding a long-lasting solution to the issue of flooding. Suffice it to say that you have your solutions to prevent flooding, and you have the post management of the flood disaster. If we concentrate on managing the aftermath of the flood, then what we are seeing, we'll continue to see. So I think, and I know, the institution is working on finding ways of preventing the flood or reducing the effect of such flooding when it occurs. It is a disastrous effect of flood on our people. You know how many farmlands have been submerged? Human beings sent packing from their homes. It's disheartening. But I will say this: over the years, the sediment load in the river continued to increase due to development in different parts of the country. Man, in his quest to develop his environment, continues to tamper with nature, and so you find the channels are getting sedimentation over time. The capacity of the major channels are reduced drastically, and so when the normal quantity of water due to rainfall comes as flood into those channels, the channels can no longer take them, and so it will go over the banks and find alternative ways, and that's how this flooding comes up in the first place. So a lot needs to be done. Those channels have to be dredged, some river training works done in some areas, and those also living on floodplain areas should be relocated permanently and not wait for the flood to devastate them before they move. And so these are the things. Remember, the climate change effect is there. You see, it happened in 2012 and now again in this 2022, about 10 years ago. The probability concept in the design of water resources structure is playing out here again. If you finish your design and you say it's a 1 in 50 year flood, it's a dam. If it floods maybe once in 50 years, that is it. You finish your dam, you're waiting for 1 in 50 years time, and it happens the next day. It's allowed for. But after that, it doesn't happen. So what do you learn from that? You adjust and prepare for where to channel the floods to.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Let's look at the pollution. We've talked about flood.
Okay.
Water pollution.
Okay.
For instance, here in the way, we have a Tamini that is being polluted. Many things are poured there: defecation, sewage, poured in, and even our underground waters
Yes.
have been endangered, according to the water engineers. because of the things that goes in and with its health hazard consequences. So what can we do, the people, the government and the institution, to be able to ensure that water pollution is reduced?
Okay, thank you, Tony. I want to say this, that in a recent study on Otamiri and Nwori here, basically Otamiri, Owerri is so blessed, and Imo State in general, they are blessed to have the river Otamiri, from where they have access to the water supply of Imo State, Owerri. Now, in 1970, a study was just, brought to the fore. Between 1970 and today, as we speak, Otamiri has declined 63%. What we are seeing is that the river, if not protected, is going into extinction.
Why?
Declining due to what all you have talked about. Human activities upstream, we're not protecting the watershed. Naturally, what we should have is that there should be, a green belt between the river banks and the nearest development property within the banks and shores of this river. That should be properly afforested with trees and proper grasses. No human activity is allowed in that area. That protects the water. That protects the water. And again, Owerri and its environs falls under the coastal plain sand formation. Now, and the water table is high as 50 meters, 80 meters, thereabout. In my master's program, I think I did some study on that river at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Otamiri, the underground water contributes to flow to as high as 67% of groundwater contributes to flow in that river. That shows you the relationship between the groundwater and the water you have there. There is an interface. So anything you dump into that river pollutes the groundwater. Not to talk of the proliferation of boreholes. Your borehole in your compound may be at the location of the septic tank of your neighbor on the other side. What happens? The wastewater there infiltrates the ground. Again, some of these boreholes are not properly done. When you do a borehole and you don't seal and cap it properly, it's a direct access of runoff from your compound into the groundwater. It goes straight down past the gravel parking and all that. And so we have a problem. Open defecation, yes. Everywhere along the banks of Nwori and Otamiri, people come and defecate. People come and defecate. With the rain, it is washed into the river. The underground formation is polluted. And so all hands need to be on deck by way of enlightenment, partnering with government, and everybody should respect the environment so that it will serve us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, sir. You've really touched along so many lines, open defecation, its effects, the boreholes, the dangers, the pools, and all those kind of things. I'm told that sewage sewage facilities is a very good, let's say, employer of labor, money earning, waste to wealth, and every other thing. As the water engineers and the institution of water engineers nationwide, especially in Imo State, I know we have the Imo State Water and Sewage Corporation. Are you working in any relationship to see that sewage facilities are built either by the government or by you, the professionals, or getting stakeholders or other agencies to assist? Because if you look at what you have talked about, you talked about open defecation. These are part of the things that should be managed to reduce the harmful effects of contaminated water. And that is so. Is the institution thinking towards management and the leveraging on the opportunities that are bound in sewage management and the construction facilities?
Yes, we are partnering with the Imo State Water and Sewage Corporation, and they are doing a great job. The enlightenment program is on. You see, like I said, the best we can do is assess the situation, bring it to the fore, profile solution, and take the bull by the horn. Start the process. Development partners will join. The bandwagon effect, the way I see it, the government may not have, they only give us their support and make the conducive environment for us to run. That is the way we want to go. The awareness, just like we talked recently of what the environment, that everybody, all hands must be on deck. The enlightenment is on. Just the other day we had a one-day stakeholders meeting with development partners at the Imo State Water Corporation and Sewerage and Water Corporation, and the partners were all there. It was a resounding success. The proposal in that at that meeting is that we want to develop, construct, put in place toilets, VIP toilets, to be funded by us and the development partners in areas that we feel that it is needed to reduce open defecation. That meeting is the type I say is the way to go. And kudos to the Imo State Water and Sewage Corporation. They are on the right track. We will also meet with government on the other areas. We notice the environmental laws of Imo State is still weak. We need to update it. We need to strengthen it so that all that we try to do to encourage our people and to bring up the living standards of our people are backed up by the law. The legal framework must be there, and the institutional framework. We need to strengthen both. We have plans of visiting the House of Assembly and also His Excellency. But you will go to them with your programs, how far you have gone, and how you want them to help. You don't just wake up and start going there. So we want to do things a little bit differently. So
okay, I've been talking with the chairman, Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers, Imo State Chapter, Engineer Dr. Michael Nwachukwu. He is the current chairman of the institution in Imo State. And sir, let me take on the final note. What advice do you have to the Association for the Society and our behavioral pattern to the environment, so that our environment will not be our enemy through our conduct and our inactivity? as a relationship to water, and since you say water is life.
Yes. Well, to every one of us, including myself sitting here, we need to obey the laws of nature as much as possible. You know, when we see tree planting, it's an essential part of existence of man. The tree you see there gives you a lot of oxygen and takes away carbon dioxide. Even the carbon dioxide, and which is one of the gases that cause this climate change problem, is taken up by the trees. So when you cut down the trees because you want to have firewood and coal, you are solving one problem and creating another. So for us, let us cultivate the habit of tree planting. We will enlighten everybody towards that, both at all levels of government, organizations. Your contributions will have programs and enlightenment talks that will bring everyone together. As you are coming, come with your own tree and plant, put your name there. Posterity will judge you and thank you for that.
Okay, that's good. They say you have to immortalize yourself by doing or planting a tree. You can put your name there, not that when nature calls and they'll say name this after this, name this after this. If you plant a tree and possibly engrave your name beside it, that is a life immortalization. So, sir, I want to appreciate the Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers, the current chairman, Engineer Dr. Michael Nwachukwu, to have been our guest today. Engineer Michael, thank you very much for being our guest.
Thank you, Tony, for having me. Thank you, viewers.
So we wish you Merry Christmas, and hoping that by the next time you come, you will now tell us the things the association, the institution have been able to achieve with under your chairmanship.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. So viewers, thank you for that. If I can go with him, and then let's have the investiture ceremony that brought in the new Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, Dr. Mike Nwachukwu, on board.
The abysmal low access to water supply for agriculture and especially potable water for domestic use today is confronted by environmental degradation arising from improper waste and sewage disposal and the open defecation which contaminate undergrowth water. These views were articulated at the second investiture and induction ceremony of the Imo State Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers. The national chairman and Nigerian water engineer, Dr. Adeyinka Shobowale, appealed for cooperation among relevant stakeholders to solve the problem confronting access to water supply, control of flood, and sustainable development.
The Nigerian Institute of Water Engineers, NIWE, is a division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE. The objective of NIWE is to bring together practicing engineers and allied professionals in the water sector for technological advancements as well as social and economic cooperation. The institution seeks to create a platform for organization of conferences, summits, and roundtable discussion of the problems.
On a lecture titled Flooding, A Threat to Food Security and Sustainable Development, Dr. Ogechi Ipemo Michael Opara University outlined the impact of flood, types, and control.
When there's an early warning, government should make efforts to evacuate. It's a natural phenomenon. We do not have powers over it. But with adequate infrastructure development and the political will and the government in place, I think we're able to stop flooding or check it to a great extent.
The Imo State Water and Sewage Corporation Managing Director and immediate past chairman of the Imo State Institute Water Engineer, Emeka Ugwanyanwu, said conscious effort should be made to eradicate open defecation because of its attendance and health consequences. He appreciated federal government policy to end open defecation.
Open defecation in Imo State is a public health disaster that is waiting to explode, and we need to start now to talk about this. Groundwater is polluting the environment, is increasing the health cost
Chairman, Nigerian Institute of Water Engineering, Imo State Chapter, Dr. Nwachukwu, pledged to build the institution to an enviable status. He said the role of water engineering in the management and maintenance of water, including flood, is the responsibility of relevant agencies and professionals.
To move from prototype to model, to monitor this model through the various stages of development until we find the technology that is available to us, and with our partners we now have the entire effect. We will just dump solutions at the doorstep of our partners like government and but we build prototype to model and test it.
The highlight of the event was investiture by Dr. Nwachukwu, induction, executing fellows, and awards to deserving corporates, institutions, and individuals.